The Royal Grenada Police Force is admonishing citizens to employ other means of disposing of waste as the dry season is taxing water sources. Grenada is currently experiencing what may be deemed drought-like conditions, and already the fire department is reporting an increase in bushfires.
Having done a comparison recently for our quarterly report, we have a decrease of some 13 fires, generally speaking. However, in terms of bushfires, we have an increase of 11 fires. So that means that persons are actually setting fires which are getting out of control more so and going into the growing reality, causing it to be classified as a bushfire.
That was Sergeant Adrian Panchu, officer attached to the fire department. With that increase in fires, this necessitates extra resources. The officer touched on the challenges they now face.
It stands right now, the major challenge is that of the fact that we have to respond to so many emergencies, and it's not just a challenge to the fire department. I think one of the major concerns nationally would be that of our water reserve. Right? I think persons, if you listen on the radio and television, you hear now us speaking about valve regulation and so forth. And it's the same treated water that we use to fight fires. So the more fires we have, that means that we will have to use that same water that you could be using for domestic purposes to extinguish those fires. Additionally, you have the issue of the environment. Right? Everybody knows what is presently on the agenda, the whole aspect of eco-friendly, going green and so forth. And the more fires you have, it would actually deplete the ozone layer. So that's another concern, not more so for the fire department directly, but we have to think nationally and internationally as well.
Touching on structural fires, Sergeant Pancho says a number of those could have been avoided. He notes that most are accidental, resulting from malfunctioning appliances that are left plugged in circuits.
As recent as maybe 2-3 days ago, I did an investigation, and it was an electrical standing fan that was left plugged in. Now the fan, most people, they would take off the fan, but they're not switching off the outlet itself. So when you do that, what happens is that the electricity is still going to the fan, and it's not being used, because when the fan is working, the electricity is being used. Electricity creates a lot of heat, and if it's going to the fan, not being used, the heat actually increases, and over a period of time you can have ignition. And that is what happens in some instances. So the whole aspect of turning off appliances before leaving the house is very critical. So the whole aspect of, if you have a piece of electrical equipment that is malfunctioning, or your electrical installation has some issue, the breaker is tripping or so forth, it is very important that you use a qualified technician. A lot of the times persons try to save money and call a friend who can maybe check things. I normally call them fly-by-night electricians. You try to save $100, and at the end of the day it costs you a couple $1,000, because sometimes you lose a whole room, some instances an entire house, which might be in the range of $100,000. So
the officer urged individuals to cooperate with the no-burn policy and first seek permission for agricultural fires from that ministry. Christina John, GBN News.